Also, another thing I learned about the strip club is you got to throw the money right. If you look at the Drummer Boy video when we're on stage in what city was that? You see when I threw the money in and it went straight down?
Yeah, you got to.
That was $1,000.
Yeah, you got to.
I threw $1,000 and it went straight down.
No, you got to.
To a person's hand, like it was stupid. Well, Phoenix Flexing.
There is a skill to throwing money.
You got to go like Solis taught me. You got it. Cause Solis be like, "What's up, man?"
Money?
You know what? Yeah,
How do you throw money?
Not officially.
Yeah, I go like this.
Yeah.
One.
How does he say he does it? He does break it down.
He
right?
said he right now he was saying it.
Well, he's saying that he did it wrong.
Oh, okay,
where he just threw it, and then it fell on somebody. But there's a whole art to it, is what he explained. Not in this video, a different video.
Like that.
All right, let's keep.
Where the fuck you been at? I'm like, I was home. He's all bullshit. Rosecrans' big cousin said he saw you at the motherfucking strip club and you threw like fucking $3,000-$4,000 and you performed. I'm like, what? He's lying. He's like, dude, come on, man. He's like, dude, Rosecrans' big cousin or Solis would be like, where the fuck were you at last night? I'm like, why?
He looks. Sometimes he looks possessed.
I told him I need 100 for gas. He's like, what the fuck you mean?
Like his eyes are just.
You just had 5,000-6,000 yesterday. I'm like, 4. I threw it in the club. He's like, you stupid ass. I just love going to the strip club. On my birthday, what I do? He's like, we're gonna go.
Pause it real quick, man. It's crazy, bro, because he's just really confessing right there that, yeah, he's rich. He has some type of money, but he goes broke as well.
Right.
Because he just said he had to call somebody for $100 to put gas, and that's why that guy's saying like, "Oh, bro, like you're an idiot. You just threw 4 or 5 racks." So that goes to show you, man, that sometimes even though you may be famous as hell, you might get the bag, but shit, if you don't take care of that money, like Cliff said, save your money earlier, you're gonna go broke.
It's behavior. Yeah. Like he's making
probably new to money as well.
Probably new to money, but it's the whole culture on what he's built on, and you know it's his priorities. Like if you're making money, but your priority is like, yo, let's go to the strip club, and I get it. I mean, we've all been to the strip club. It's fun. Right. You know, you could have the time of your life type of thing. But yeah, if you're gonna go broke and then have to ask the homies for money, I mean, personally, I don't like that feeling. We've talked about this.
Unless that person that he's asking for money is like his accountant or the person that manages his money.
Right.
They probably give him like
where it's his own money. That's a good point.
They probably give him like what do you call it? An allowance. Like, hey, bro, you're only allowed to spend this much a month.
Which would sound weird though for Lefty to have an allowance with such a free spirit that he is.
But if he got,
you think he's that structured?
No, what I'm saying is if there's people that are smarter than him and have been around the industry and
they're doing it for him.
Yeah, they know that.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
It's more of a way of looking out for him. Like, hey, bro, you know what? You do got a spending habit. We're gonna give you a $10,000 allowance a month, bro. But on a weekly basis, we're gonna give you $5,000 or some shit like that, or $2,500. I don't know.
The word allowance just sounds so weird to hear that with Lefty, considering that he's such a gangster and a thug and all that. It's like you know, obviously like a dad putting his kid on an allowance. But I feel you. That would be very smart.
Like, you got to have people that are going to be looking out for your best interest, you know, and especially like, again, if you're kind of new to this and that's the lifestyle, and if you got real people that are really looking out for your best interest, they're going to handle that money for you.
I hope that's what it is, Lefty.
Right.
I hope that's what it is.
I'm going to the club. Yesterday, we went to the club. He went with me. I dropped the homie off. All right, we're going home. I told the homie, I'll be right back. Fool, my mom's calling me. I went back to the club, and I went to go perform at all 3 clubs for free and throw money. And
you love strip clubs. That's your weakness.
I love the strip clubs on Valley Boulevard.
So you're a street.
The strip clubs at
where's Valley Boulevard?
I have no idea, but it
Clip
probably
Valley
has to be in the SGV area. I'm
okay, we'll have to look that up.
We'll look that up.
Would you say that's your weakness?
Wednesday, maybe,
strip clubs, strippers.
The gang, my family, my little.
Wait, hold on. Catch this. This is very important.
Money and I.
You love strip clubs. That's your weakness.
I love the strip clubs on Valley Boulevard.
So would you say that's your weakness? Strip clubs, strippers.
The gang, my family, my little niece, my homeboys, just like that. My mom.
Well, that's your strength. I'm talking about something.
Oh, that's my weakness.
Okay.
That shit fucks me up.
Damn.
I thought when I first saw this, I thought I think it's very, Lefty is a very, I like him a lot personally because I feel like he's real. I feel like he speaks his mind. He's not afraid to share how he really feels, and obviously, we know he's gonna get more
he's
into
looking
it.
straight into our souls right now, dog. Like he knows we're talking about
It looks scary as fuck right there, but for him to like admit that, like he's in a gang, and the homie's trying to say, nah, bro, that's your strength. He's like, nah, that's my weakness.
He admits it.
So for him to like, I was thinking about this earlier, like he's a smart guy. And I say he's smart in this case because he's aware. I think me, like, I've done therapy before, and I've met with some therapists, and like one of the first steps is becoming aware of, whatever that issue is. And he's aware. He's aware of what he's involved in and how it's hurting him.
Right.
And I think a lot. So it's just interesting that he's still in it despite.
Well, I think that's what's gotten him to where he's at right now, and probably he doesn't want to leave from that. Or it's confusing though, bro, because it's kind of like when you grow up in an environment and then you make it, and if you try to leave from that, you get criticized for that. Like, oh, like he's fake. He just wanted the fame. He just wanted this. So a part of you doesn't want to leave because of that, because you kind of care what people think about you or what they're gonna say. But sometimes you got to leave it, bro. Or else it's going to cost you.
Well,
and unfortunately, and Nipsey Hussle, bro, it cost him.
And like we know, sometimes you can't leave though, right? Like there's only one way to leave.
Right.
And so.
But I want to piggyback what you're saying about his awareness. And there's a video, bro, that I seen, and I think it's very interesting. Maybe we could play this after. But he talks about self-help books and the Bible. And he says self-help books... because they asked him, like, well, like, do you read? And he said, nah, I read the Bible. He's all like, self-help books is only good for you if you understand what you're reading. But if you don't understand what you're reading, how can you comprehend it, or how can you apply that to your life? And then he went on to say, the only book I read is the Bible, because all the truth I need is in there. When I heard that, I'm like, damn, okay, this motherfucker is
onto something.
He's really aware. He's not.
I mean, he looks
not as crazy as how he sounds.
Our respect to Lefty. I mean, if he ever gets to see this, whatever. I mean, he looks crazy. I'll go ahead and say it. He looks crazy. He looks scary. Tats on his face, all this shit. I mean, he's accused of tweaking, all that, whatever. But at the end of the day, when he talks, he is revealing that, hey, I'm not as dumb as you might think.
Like homeboy try to correct him, like, oh, that's your strength. He's like, no, I know what I said.
Right.
It's my weakness.
You think it might be my strength, but it's my weakness.
Yeah, it fucks me up. It fucking me up right now. My grandma, my mom, my baby mom, my daughter crying, my niece, my homeboys, my brothers that are dead. Like, that's like grief and loss. They taught me that's called grief and loss. That's when you gotta sit there and go back.
Pause it. I think he's done therapy, bro.
Yeah, I was
the
gonna
way
say,
he just said that right
language.
Now, yeah.
He said they taught me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's grief, unless he learned that in prison with the homies. But maybe it was therapy.
Maybe.
Fucking deal with the grief and get over it. But I don't like to think about it. Like, just not being in my son's life. Like, I don't even know my son. And he lives across the street from me, but that's my fault. I went away for a long time. I came home. He don't know me. My baby mama raised him. She got a new baby daddy. Like, it's just like...
How old is your son?
He's 11. When I kick it with him, it's awkward. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, and then he comes out, like, with an Edgar cut, like, what the fuck you doing, bitch? Why you got him like this for? That shit is out. Hell no.
This shit is out.
You hear that, bro? Yeah, it comes in with an Edgar cut. Oh my god.
That's crazy.
I think Lefty is hilarious, bro. I think he's funny
because he really does speak his mind. Like, he don't give a fuck. There's
he's
no
just
filter.
talking. He's just talking, and he's honest.
He's really expressing how he felt.
Right, like how many men, how many fathers that are not that involved in their kid's life will admit to that shit? Right. Like, oh, it's awkward when I see my son. He comes home and he looks ugly. But all jokes aside, personally, all jokes aside, I feel for him, man, and I feel for
you can't make up for lost time.
I like. At the end of the day, if we were to get deep into this, like, and I think he said it in the last video we reacted to, or maybe I'm mistaken with another video, but I know that at the end of the day, a gang is a family. A lot of these kids that join gangs at a young age or even in their teenage years, it's usually because there's a lack of family, there's a lack of belonging, fatherhood, love. So these kids turn to the streets.
Right. And the funny thing that you say that, is that's exactly what happened to Lefty. There's a video of him saying like, "Yo, I didn't grow up with my dad, so
That's right,
I was
yeah.
drawn into the streets."
Where the little kid was interviewing
Yeah,
him?
yeah. Like I got caught up with the love with the homies.
Right.
Unfortunately, that led me to making bad decisions. But
Right.
you know, the good thing is he's trying to be a part of his kid's life, but it sounds like his son is they're completely different. You know, there are two different cultures there and mindsets. Like obviously he's still kind of involved in the gang banging and that mindset. It sounds like the son is, you know, like a really good kid.
I mean, yeah, I would hope he's a really good kid, but I obviously I think that has a lot to do with baby mama. It sounds like
Right.
baby mama is not trying to have him involved at all
Right.
with the kid, which I can understand. Like to some degree, like if you're a mom and your baby daddy is into some dangerous shit, I mean, he just said it, that Lefty has lost a lot of his friends. There's a lot of grief. There's a lot of loss.
Yeah.
Would you want your child to hang out with, even if it's
Right.
his own father, if there's a chance of your child being killed or being hurt?
Of course
like,
not. The
no.
answer's gonna be no. But it sounds like, based on what he said, they live across the street from each other. So
Right.
I mean,
right.
there has to be some type of boundary. Like, hey, you know what? You can come over. You could kick it with your son, or my son could go over from this time to this time, but he could only be right here. You know.
Yeah, and it sounds like, unfortunately, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're getting in too deep, but baby mama maybe trained the child to feel some kind of way
Towards
Lefty.
It's 11 years, bro. It's
Right,
11 years.
where he's 11 years old, and now the
Right.
kid himself is probably feeling some type of way. And I
some-
think there's a stepdad
Yeah, exactly.
involved. There's another man involved. So, listen, I think, you know, we pray for Lefty. Like we hope, you know, that he doesn't go through much suffering and you know,
Yeah.
that he's able to enjoy his child. But I feel a lot for, you know, gangbangers, people in gangs, all that type of shit, because at the end of the day, when you break shit down, man, when people rob, even killing for like territory, they're all trying to make a living.
Right.
They're all trying to make a living. They're trying to make money somehow. And, you know, it's just the paths that they chose require violence and all this stuff. And it's sad. I think for me personally, I'll go ahead and say it, that seeing somebody like him, it is sad because they suffer so much.
Right.
They go through so much pain, and that's why they turn to drugs to numb the pain. And this is why they live that lifestyle to, you know, they're on drugs a lot to forget.
Well, let's break it down, bro, real quick. What is a gang?
I mean, number one, it's a family.
Right. But back in the days, gangs were considered tribes. Like, have you ever seen the movie like the Apocalypto? I can't pronounce it. Do you know what movie I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Homeboy that looks like
Apocalypto.
Ronaldinho?
Yeah.
Thank you. They had their tribes, right? That's considered their gang. Homies are tatted. They look fucking scary as fuck too. And that's their tribe. What do? They go to other hoods, cities, and they invade and they take over, right? So gangs were created to protect, right? You protect your tribe, you protect your family. But all that has changed now. Like, it's not like you're not protecting the family no more. You're fighting for a block that's not yours, a block that you will never own, type of shit. You get me?
Yeah.
You're fighting for territory, but for what though? Like, what's the purpose of the territory?
Like, you'll never really own it at the end of the day.
Right.
Like all these
So-
people fighting for LA, like who really owns LA though?
Right.
Like
So-
the government.
I feel like the gang culture has lost itself in that sense, where like back then, like, okay, like the Crips, all this was started to protect your people in your neighborhood because your neighborhood was being invaded or you know, violated. But now it's like the Wild Wild West, man. Like,
Well,
so-
I feel like it's still the same. Like I still feel like they're fighting to protect their territories. I don't know that has lost its way so much. Because you know, at the end of the day, like if we're part of a gang, we're gonna roll with each other. And if there's an enemy gang, like yeah, people, they got to do what they got to do, and then to scale it and make it even bigger. I mean, that's what countries are too, in a way. Like countries are gangs, but not to go too deep into
politics
that.
is a gang.
Right, that's a whole.
It's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
Fine, I should be giving her more, but it's just like what the fuck? Like, she raised him. A man should be raising his son, and that's my fault. But all my homies' kids, when I walk out,
At least he acknowledges it.
Right. So
He's man enough to acknowledge
exactly, he takes ownership
takes
where he's
ownership.
not blaming
Right.
baby mama he's blaming himself. That's a big deal. You don't hear that very often.
walk out, what's up, fool? was Hanny certified, you know, they're boys. Like he's just like kind of like, like dude, you're.
I mean, he's a mama's boy. He didn't have his dad in his life.
I'm trying to be in his life, and she don't let me. You know what I'm saying? I'm across the street. I'm trying. When I knock on the door, they be like, "What's he doing here?" Like, you know, but if I got money for them, then they let me see him. Like, dog, just drop him off with me. He's not gonna overdose from crying. I won't say that to her.
That's a funny ass
what I
thing.
do say.
He's not gonna overdose from
He's
crying.
not gonna overdose from crying.
So it sounds like Lefty is really trying to do whatever it takes, you know, to be in his son's life, and he's willing to roll with his kid even if his kid cries. That's some real shit. Like even if his kid doesn't want to be there, Lefty's saying, "I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm gonna ride with you." You know, that you can feel his heart crying out for his son.
Right. But also, bro, it takes time. You know, it takes time. Son has to build that trust with him. I mean, I'm not, like you said earlier, Lefty looks like a scary dude, bro. Maybe he's scared of his dad. Like, oh shit, like, and maybe, and also I could just imagine everything the mom has probably said, like, hey, yo, your dad was in prison, all this. So,
well, yeah, if
he's
he just said he pulls up to their house and they're like, what the fuck does he want?
Yeah, exactly.
So they probably speak negatively about him. So,
so it's tough, man. It's tough, but hopefully, you know, they could overcome that.
How do you feel about that? I mean, you're not in a situation like that, but I'm sure you know people, you've heard about it, and maybe Cliff, you can comment on this too. But like, how do you guys feel about when a couple is split, mom and dad, usually that child goes with mom? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that family talking negatively about the other parent?
It shouldn't be that way. You know, when my parents split, I never heard my dad say anything negative.
So you went through that. Yeah. Okay.
I never heard my dad say anything negative about my mom. If anything, he still would paint a good picture of my mother because at the end of the day, that was my mother, but it was vice versa, you know. When when it came to my dad, my mom always had negative things to say, but that's coming from a place of hurt, a place of, you know, envy, jealousy. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, but it shouldn't be that way, man. You know, at the end of the day, your father is your father, and your mother is your mother, and as a father, he deserves the right to be with his child.
What about you, Cliff? What you think?
I obviously I don't agree with the craziness that happens when a family splits up, but usually when it's the negative talk that comes from the woman is usually out of emotion, right? Mm-hmm. And it's funny, I've seen this happen a lot, and the guys, not all men of course, but some of the guys or most of the guys that I speak to, they never really talk smack about the baby mama or whatnot. Is usually the baby mama doing that because a lot of them don't. Most women, not all, they don't really like to take accountability for the things that they did to jeopardize or hurt the relationship.
Right. And they ignore all that.
Yeah.
And make it seem like it's just like the man's fault.
Yeah,
right.
It's always
your
like
dad's
that.
fault.
It's always like that.
Right.
So yeah, I don't necessarily agree with either side of the family doing that and taking sides. I feel like, hey, you know what, this was a situation between, you know, those two. And
it should stay between
those
two.
I think
you shouldn't poison the child's mind
because no side really has the full story other than the people that were in the mix.
And the child don't need to know all that.
So I will say, in my opinion, like it makes me think of my grandmother, where to this day, her baby daddy, my grandfather, she's got no love for him. You know, my grandmother's 74, 75. He's a little bit older. I just saw him in Honduras.
That's the one that's Oh no!
That's his dad.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
the one
gotcha,
that's over 100. But you know,
that's
funny
crazy,
moment
dog.
is that like I'm in San Pedro Sula with my dad, his dad, my grandfather, and we mess around. I mean, you know how my family is and Latinos are, and I make a joke like, hey, I'm gonna call my grandma so you can say hi to her. We start cracking up because obviously they're not gonna talk.
Yeah, they know.
And he has no problem with her, so it seems. I don't know the full context, but I know my mom. She raised me. I call her my mom. I know my mom has no appreciation for him. So I will say this, that I think my mom feeling the way that she feels, it's valid. So I don't want to like make it seem like, you know, for the women or the men that feel some kind of way about their partner, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, your feelings are invalid, but I think there should be intelligence and wisdom behind that. For example, like if your baby is young, maybe chill on that. Yeah. Your baby's young, like their mind is being molded right now. Just maybe you should wait.
Let them create their own opinion.
Let them develop. Let the dad be involved. If he's a good dad, obviously, if the court decides, hey, this guy's crazy, that's a different story. But let the dad be involved. Let the kid develop his own relationship,
Right.
unbiased. Let him develop his own reasoning and all that. And then later on, you can like, hey, you know what? I know you love dad, but hey, this happened between me and dad or me and mom. And then that way he can have more understanding because kids will inquire. Right. Well, why'd y'all split?
Right.
What happened?
They will ask eventually.
Right. So maybe the timing of it, like Lefty's son is only 11. Sounds like this shit was done way too early. But then again, I know he was in prison.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, where's dad? It's like, shit. Well, what do you say? Like,
Dad's on vacation.
Put him in a car. Give a fuck if you're crying. Just kicking it with your dad.
Let's go do something, man.
Yeah, you're not gonna OD. Yeah, come kick it with your dad. Come on me to Bootleg Kev show.
Right.
Come sit down with him, and I'll bring him. I'll be more than happy.
Right.
I'm bringing my homie's daughter. That's my niece. I'm bringing her. She's chilling. He could do it. She's about the same age as him. She's 7th grade. He's 3
You
years
gotta take him
younger.
to like a Laker game. Take him to
He
Top
still won't
Golf.
want to go.
Take him.
I got season tickets to the Clippers. And did you know that? We never go. I got season
never
tickets to the
go.
Clippers in a booth.
Take him, man.
You don't want to go. That's
I
where we
got
shot
season
off from
tickets, but
scratch
we
at.
never go.
I saw that.
We shot it over there.
Yeah.
OTR got me season tickets to the Clippers game. OTR, man, soulless, man. His wife's actually a UFC fighter. We were looking at her fights and shit.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Check her out, man.
Damn.
She UFC. She got wobble. She got hands. So listen, I'm gonna put you in a martial
She
arts
got
class.
wobbled?
I'm
Is that what
fuck that. I'm strapped out here.